And then the third trimester.
Well, again, you're in the home stretch here. And as the baby gets bigger, your organs get pushed around and squished around, and you're going to have some other little complications that people don't like to talk about. But there's certain things to be careful of. You want to make sure, again, really important, getting enough water, getting enough sleep. If you are ever at all concerned about anything, always contact your care provider, whether that's a midwife or an OB/GYN or whoever. Swelling of the feet and ankles can sometimes, be a precursor to edema or to preeclampsia. So you want to make sure that if you're really uncomfortable and you really see that your skin is pitting and you're swelling, there could be something wrong. So there's different warning signs that our bodies put out there. Typically speaking, most pregnancies go without any kind of event. But, there are high-risk pregnancies out there. There are different complications that are out there, and they're just the fact of life. It depends on genetics and other things. For example, gestational diabetes. Depending on genetics and the health of the mom, it's fairly common these days to develop some kind of diabetes while pregnant. So, again, you want to stay as healthy as you can and eat as well as you can, because not only are you eating for yourself, but you are also eating for your baby. Some people who have a lot of food allergies run into some troubles because they want to make sure that they can get enough vitamins and everything else for their baby. So again, that's something to discuss with the doctor about what you can do for something like that. But typically speaking, by 35th week, 36th week, you're hoping your baby starts to turn around, since you don't want to have a breech baby necessarily, and they're on their way out. So you're going to feel tired. Your back's going to be killing you. But there's so many wonderful products. Like, do you have those baby belly? I think they're like kind of carriers, holders for your belly that help the pregnant mom balance out a little bit more. Do you have those? Those are wonderful. And the pregnancy pillows as well.
Ingrid and Isabel. It's the belly band. We actually don't carry those, but you could find them at all sorts of different pregnancy stores.
Yeah, I mean, different things like that, like pregnancy pillows, anything that's going to make yourself more comfortable at this stage is really important. And that's where, this is also the trimester where, some people who aren't superstitious, they start buying their nursery stuff, which is also important. You got to get prepared for that too. So, to get the right crib and the right bassinet and all the right products, and figure out whether you're going to do diaper service or you're going to do, paper diapers, like Huggies or whomever. These are all important decisions that start to have to happen. Not only that, but just, financial different things. So the third trimester, typically speaking, can be a stressful one for the planning stuff, but also one of elation because you're almost done. So, and not every woman enjoys their pregnancy. It's like, ooh, shh, don't say that. But it's true. I mean, not every woman enjoys their pregnancy. Some are like, just get this baby out of me already. But for the most part, this is, it's a really amazing time. I think one of the most amazing things I personally went through, and this is going back 14 years ago already, but as I think I was about 8 months pregnant, you can just watch your belly kind of look like the Loch Ness Monster goes through there. It kind of goes, and you see this little being just kind of, undulate down there. You're like, wow, there's like a living being in there. So, you start really connecting with your baby, and actually you could start connecting with your baby right away as soon as you're pregnant, and some women do and some women don't. Some people have really crazy dreams, right before their kid is born. So there's all these different midwives' tales, and there's all these different things that people go through during this trimester. But I think the most important thing to remember is, have the right products at hand for yourself and for the future. If you're not superstitious, start preparing your nursery. Make sure that, if there's any painting going on, that you're not in the vicinity. Have someone else do that for you. Also remember, this is really important too, and I forgot to bring up for the first, second, and third, but if you have pets, start getting your pets prepared. If you have cats, make your partner do it. Don't go near the kitty litter. That's a really big one. But in terms of what the kind of products that you have at baby age. I mean, there's so much to choose from there, just for nursery and everything else. You know, it's kind of like a smorgasbord. So that's always fun. That part is it.
What are some of the biggest wives' tales? So you brought up midwife tales, but what are some of the biggest maybe debunked thoughts or concepts about pregnancy?
Oh, the whole, like, if you carry a certain way, it might be a girl. If your face breaks out, it's going to be a boy. You know, all kinds of things like that. The Chinese gender charts are a really big one. Sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's not.
It's about 50% accurate?
Yeah. You know, I mean, that's what you're going to get, right? I mean, it's a 50-50 chance. So, I think one of the cutest stories that, this person was told, they were in the next room when I was giving birth, and this person was told they were going to have a girl. So they kept going, come on, Emma, you can come out, Emma. And then all of a sudden we heard, Ethan? But so prior planning is kind of important too. I mean, if you're going to find out the sex of your baby, get the products that work for you. And sometimes you might be surprised because sometimes those ultrasounds aren't always showing things accurately. Of course, that's where the 4D stuff comes in a little bit more. But in terms of debunking, a lot of them kind of still hold their weight, in terms of how you carry, how you feel, because they're kind of based on truths, more or less.
So what about foot growth?
Foot growth?
So
no.
That was the biggest thing that my wife was paranoid. She was a size 6, and she just wasn't looking forward to having to give up her shoe closet.
Well, the feet should return somewhat normally. It's like if you wear Birkenstocks or some kind of sandal all the time, your feet are going to spread out naturally.
Sure.
So if you go back to confined shoes, you're going to confine your foot again. So typically speaking, you might gain a half a size, you might gain a size just from the weight of it. Again, it depends on how much you gain during the pregnancy too. Like some women, they'll gain 40, 50 pounds and they'll look like they're not pregnant the next day. Whereas some of us, myself included, you gain that same thing and it takes years to get rid of. So, that the extra weight and stress that you put on your joints and on your back and on your feet, sure. I mean, your feet are going to spread a little bit. That's just normal.
So what are your thoughts on programs like Lamaze?
Oh, they're wonderful. I think any kind of childbirth education is really important. Again, that gives the couple, the partnership, the empowerment over the birth and to not be driven by fear in birth, because I think that the smoothest way to have a decent birth is to be educated. So whether it's Lamaze or it's hypnobirthing or it's a water birth, whatever the method, whether it's Bradley, Lamaze, whatever, they're really important tools. Any kind of childbirth classing is very important, both for the father and mother, or partners, as the case may be. And it gives you the ability to be in control of your birth as much as you can be and as much as you want to be. That's also where birth plans come into effect as well. This is the third trimester is also an important time to kind of put that together as well, kind of what you want to do. You work that out with your midwife, your OB. Let's say you don't want an episiotomy, for instance. You put that in your birth plan. I really don't want to be cut.
Right.
And most of the time they're adhered to. And sometimes, an L&D ward's going to get whatever, but typically speaking, most people will honor those. So.
And do you have resources on your website to find locally based pregnancy education programs?
We do have some local pages, the local.pregnancy.org, and some are listed. Typically speaking, you really want to talk to your friends in the area. Word of mouth, I think, is important because you can ask your friends, assuming that they are parents too and have gone through this, who did you use, where did you go? Because usually that's the best kind of recommendation. But sure, I mean, you can find them in Yellow Pages, you can find it on our website, you can find it all over. Lamaze International, I believe the Bradley Method folks as well, also I think have local listings as well, just like La Leche does for breastfeeding.
Got it.